isn't that interesting? So I said, when is it? And she said, it was Saturday and to Saturday. And so I'm wondering if, because the energy is so very strong right now. And, I explained to her what Passover was again, and she remembered. And it was funny because we had a little conversation about it. During homeschool, I taught them all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't in their books. And, but anyway, yeah, we had this conversation. All this energy is coming in. We have these holy weeks coming in. This month is insane with all the holy days. And all this stuff is going on. All these days are being passed up. Last week we talked about the Project Looking Glass, and about the 18th was supposed to be a day, some nuclear bomb or whatever was supposed to go off, but it didn't because they stopped it because of the big guys got a hold of the looking glass.
But here's the point. In some timeline, that went off.
Right.
And we absorbed all the energy from that timeline and that collapse into this one.
That harsh energy, I kind of feel like that harsh energy that we get in certain weird spurts could be from a timeline collapsing, because some of us can feel it. Like, so God told me I was a sensitive, not I was sensitive, but I was a sensitive is what he said to me. He said, you're a sensitive. And it was funny because I knew exactly what he was talking about. It was like, I can feel all kinds of stuff. So it's like almost immediately, my sense of smell is like insane. I could hear things really well, like pin drop kind of things. I'm very, very sensitive to energy and water, and it's just ramping up. And I think that maybe, I just kind of got something. Maybe the reason why it's amping up on me so much, or ramping up on me so much, is because all the timelines that I was in, maybe they're almost all the way done. Mm-hmm. And so I have all the parts of my soul, sort of like if you were thinking about a Horcrux or whatever, being split into 9 or whatever, but split into bazillions, and then I feel like I'm getting all those parts now. So my awareness, and this is where I think when you awaken, those parts of your soul are coming in. The more awareness, the more you're getting. It's not so much, you're reading something. You're becoming more aware. And then when that person comes in, maybe you take on a trait from that timeline. Like maybe all of a sudden you don't like peaches, or maybe you do like peaches, and maybe it's because you like peaches over there, or maybe,
right.
I mean, God, who knows? I mean, so many possibilities.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Because it does make a lot of sense, because, when you what's really funny is I used to be deathly allergic to cats and dogs. And since the more that I've awakened, the less allergic to cats and dogs I am, which makes absolutely no sense. But I feel like...
medically it doesn't. But...
none. None. And there's other things too, like I wasn't able to understand what I read, and now it's like I'm a damn genius, And so all these aspects of my soul are coming into play. And anyway, I think that's interesting.
Well, that gets into the whole subject of walk-ins. And I've heard a lot of spiritual people talk about walk-ins as one soul brings you to a certain point, and then they feel like they're done, or they're under some kind of agreement that, the next soul will come in and kind of house the same vessel, but still be part of you.
I don't feel like I have that, a separate walk-in. I don't.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like
a Danielle walk-in.
I feel like more when I get these epiphanies, or the these understandings that just flood in,
being absorbed.
Yeah, it's like you're absorbing that from somewhere, and it very well could be another girl somewhere that understands that, or you're quantumly tapped into that.
That you finally got into it.
Yeah.
You finally, what we were talking about the other day, when you finally get it, when you finally come to that realization, when you finally, you're catching up to where you were before. Think about it. Say you're moving into a different house, right? Or to a different town. And you're very uncomfortable when you get there. You might be excited, but you're uncomfortable because you don't know the place yet. But once you start to get to know the place, you feel more comfortable walking at night, or you feel more comfortable talking to your neighbors, or, I don't know, doing whatever. That's the same thing. If you were to have like a shift and part of you comes in, this walk-in of yourself, I suppose, other aspect of your soul, it would take some time to integrate that part of yourself, that new self. And then sometimes, like I say, it's weird how we have these, maybe you read, like me, romance novels for like most of your life, and then all of a sudden the romance novels aren't so exciting, but you know what is? Mystery. And you never read mystery before, but for some reason you know that you like it and you want to read it. And you read it and it's the most amazing thing ever, and romance sucks now. Or you'll like mystery with a little bit of romance, just that tiny bit of you that used to be there. And so it's kind of strange how that happens, and I feel like that's kind of what we're going through right now. Like, with jobs, and I think like everybody, all these people that had these great work ethics, before this whole pandemic started. And it's not because, they're lazy people. This one's not lazy at all. He can't stand his job. And he loved it before. And I wouldn't say loved it, but he was okay with it, and he was comfortable with going, and he didn't have any problem. And now he dreads it every day. And it's like whatever part of his soul came in.
Something shifted to where, a lot of it was opening up to the awareness of this whole slave system and how it was set up, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore.
Yeah, but where did that come from?
Where did that come from? But it's like every day I wake up, I'm like, I have got to get out of this. Got to get out of it. And, I haven't figured out how yet, but the how is less important than the awareness of it, I think. Because now that, the awareness is there and the want is there, sending out into the quantum field and
it's like a nag.
The universe, and, I'm telling God every day, like, I want something else. It's eventually going to work itself in. But, it is. It's like a nag, and for some reason, I always imagined working all the way till retirement through this painting career, and now it's like, that makes me sick to my stomach thinking about spending 15 more years.
Once you put something out in the quantum field, once you put a thought out there, and then you're asking for this prayer that you're asking for, you can't be mad whenever it starts to work, because there's a process about it working. Mm-hmm. So what you did, you brought this on yourself.
Yeah, great.
So
I know,
but it's great. But it's great though, because once you understand how it works, and you see this like amazing part in your life, it's like when you pray, and that's exactly what it is, because God answers prayers in all different ways. And once you're putting that thought out there, that positive action of something that Earl's soul deeply wanted before he came in, and now this Earl down here is like, okay, I don't want to work anymore at this job. And if your the higher self agrees, then it's put in motion. Mm-hmm. It's like, and then there's no stopping it. It's like that whole thing. Nothing can stop what's coming, right? That's exactly what it is, because once that is out there, it's coming. It you don't know how it's coming, but it is, and it's kind of incredible. It's pretty cool. But what I wanted to talk about today was a little about what we talked about, but also narcissist. So I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, like when we first started talking.
Yeah.
But in light of the whole Johnny Depp, Amber Heard trial that's going on, and if any of you are watching television, I personally don't watch TV, but I do have YouTube, so I did see some of it on there. And I really like Johnny Depp, I did, and I was kind of like one of those things that was like, oh God, I really hope he's not like evil and he's eating people. So I just kind of listened to it for a minute, and I was just, wow, I got sucked in. And I listened to it for a lot. And basically, this poor man he's the most shy. He's like a very massive introvert, very shy, very backward kind of guy. And he said basically why he got so good is, he was playing a role. He was acting. And he could be anybody he wanted. So he always put this spin on his characters. And he said, when he did Jack Sparrow, he actually rewrote Jack Sparrow. It wasn't how Disney wanted. And then they didn't like that he changed the script. And then when they watched it, they thought he was great and they loved it. And because he said it never sat well with him, basically. And then, he did it. And then they liked it. And so then he became Jack Sparrow, right? And all the different characters he had done, he said when he did Edward Scissorhands, he felt like Edward Scissorhands was like his sister's child. Like he had a childlike mind and wonder and thought like a child. So you could see that in that movie, how he acted. And that's how he became that one. So he was talking about the different ways he became the roles, that he played. And you find out, you're thinking, why in the hell is he telling this whole story, right? Well, she lied about everything. And one thing I know about this whole ascension is everybody, all the darkness is coming to light in everybody. Yep. Even these famous people. And this guy's finally getting his day in court with this woman. And it turns out, man, she is a psychopath. And she did all these things. And she's so narcissistic. And if you don't know what a narcissist is, you really should look it up. But it's somebody that'll basically convince you that you're wrong, that you're the devil, that you've done everything wrong, and they are perfect, and they don't do anything right. Or they do everything right.
And if they do something, you're the one that caused it.
Oh, God, you're the one. And the reason why they did it's because of you. So if they smack you in the face, it's all your fault because you pushed them to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it is absolutely nuts. So we're sitting there watching this, and Earl and I have both had extensive experience of this the last few years, and kind of brought up a few things for me, and it was kind of nice to watch, to be honest with you. Sounds kind of psycho, but it was nice to watch because it was like a confirmation for everything I watched. I was like, holy shit. I don't think I would have... I mean, I would have known that it was kind of nuts, but I don't think I would have known the depths of how crazy this was unless I would have gone through that myself.
Yeah.
But this woman ruined this man's life. I mean, she cost him his livelihood. He wasn't in Pirates of the Caribbean 6. They took him out because, they said, he beat this woman up. He didn't touch her. And then he lost Harry Potter role, as, what's his face? The other wizard. Mm-hmm. And it was so crazy, all the stuff that had happened. Multiple things, but he said the reason why he was taking her to court, and they asked him, he says because she put out a People magazine when that whole stupid Me Too movement was going through, and she wanted to further her career, and she had a bruise on her face by her eye, like right here. And it was on the front cover, and it was basically all about how she did, that she was this poor victim of this horrible thing, and everybody just dogged on him and blamed everything on him, and he had no say. So they had all these abusive reports on that. And I thought it was interesting because in this ascension, you find out that everybody has narcissistic traits. Every single one of us.
When we were first learning about it, we saw narcissistic traits, in one another and ourselves. Yeah, and it's like once you can admit it, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing that.
Yeah, you just stop it because you feel like a dumbass. And some of them are honestly so ridiculous, but they're little stupid things you do. Maybe you try to make somebody feel guilty so you can get some attention. That was something I did, like I would do, like for our kids, I'd go, oh, come give me a kiss, and I'd be ridiculous, and then they'd come give me a kiss, and
it seems so innocent, but really, if you're looking at it's
sick.
Like so manipulative.
Yeah, it's very manipulative, and then
it's
the
like,
kid thinks that
I feel icky.
they have to because they have to do it because you're sick, and you made them feel bad, and it's like once you see what it is, then it's like it's kind of psychotic, and you're like, holy shit, I was doing that. And I was watching this one video, and I started seeing these little things, and I was like, oh my god, I was so embarrassed. So I was like, after I did it, I was like, I'm not doing that again. That's so bad. And so now it's like I call people out on their little things that they do, and it's funny because now the kids don't fall for it anymore.
We talked to the kids about it.
Yeah,
and
I said, don't do
not
that.
To fall for stuff
people are doing them.
We used to do them.
Yeah. We taught you kids well.
But it's awesome though once you recognize it.
Yeah, we apologized, you know, and we said, we just did it. That's what our families did, and we just did the same thing.
It was
we just carried it
program that just carried on.
So, and it's just like ours wasn't like an it wasn't an unforgivable thing.
Not at all.
Well, nothing's unforgivable, but it wasn't like a big deal. Like, I mean, we didn't do anything really horrible. Just try to get a kiss every once in a while, a hug. Because, our kids are getting bigger,
But, it leads into, like, victim mode and things like that. So, I mean, once you find out, like, how in victim mode this entire society is, from the controllers, it's like the controllers themselves are giant narcissists, and they're blaming it on us.
We had the biggest narcissist teacher ever to teach us about narcissism. I mean, it was ridiculous. So, the thing about it was, though, it was actually a really good lesson for us.
It really was.
Yeah, she was really good at it. She was a massive narcissist. Still is probably. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she changed. I don't know. I hope so.
But
it was a huge eye-opener. She's actually the one that sent us the video about it.
Presented to us as...
We were narcissists.
We were narcissists. You specifically were a narcissist.
Uh-huh.
And when I watched the video, I was like, oh my God, this person that's in this video is the narcissist who is saying... They're not, and telling us we are. And like I said, there were traits that we cleaned up.
There were a few, but yeah.
In the same way, I want to make this point, in the same way, we have the elites of this world burning oil like crazy and, and creating this, this economy based on petrol, right? And we can't get away from it because any new technologies that come up, they squash. So they make tons of money off this global gas raping the earth system. And then it's not their fault, it's your fault.
Oh, yeah.
You're driving a car.
Because you have so much money.
Yeah, you're driving a car. You're not recycling. You're doing all these things. Yeah,
But that's okay. I'm going to get on my jet tonight.
Yeah, we're going to make all the products out of petroleum, all the plastics. And then it's your fault what you do with it. It's your fault the oceans are destroyed. It's your fault. It's not our fault. We're doing everything we can with all our money to do all these, global warming projects. But make sure you don't do anything wrong because you're the one that's wrong. So you make sure you use your bathtub water on your flowers, and you make sure that you're not killing any thing and tear all the dams down because you're destroying the environment. You're doing it.
And we're gonna shut down the pipeline, okay? And then we're gonna build electric car stations. And then guess what? We're gonna do all this. And now you have to go buy a $55,000 car because it's cheap. Come on, man. Yeah. You're gonna save all this money in gas. But guess what? The electric car stations. Guess what they take?
Several electric charging stations run on diesel generators. Just so you guys know.
You have to have oil.
Not all of them.
Are you kidding
me? Where the electricity comes from is still based on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
We still don't have the free energy that this planet used to have.
Why do you think God gave us all this oil? I mean, honestly, why? Why do you think God gave us all this oil? Do you think it was a mistake? Do you think he said, you know what? Hey, guess what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys all this oil. You can't use it. Come on, man. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
We've all heard stories about the Tesla technology and the free energy and all the stuff that's being suppressed. And, J.P. Morgan didn't want the free electricity because he couldn't meter it. He couldn't make money off of it. So all this stuff is out there and is available. But, all the money people are destroying the earth and blaming it on you, and then even making you, out of your guilt, pay for carbon credits back to them. So they create the problem, they blame it on you, out of your guilt, pay for it, and make them even richer. Yeah. I mean, come on. What a narcissist loop that is.
Right, there's a whole
and that's just one example.
Oh, there's tons. Biden was like the best at it, I gotta say. Because I was watching this thing about how they had this, when he buffooned the whole thing over in Afghanistan, And they had this whole big thing, and that soldier that, you know, when he was checking his watch at the funeral, you know, or at the tarmac or whatever when the people were coming in. So he was talking about how his son died. How, oh, my son, you know, Bo or whatever, he would, you know, he died. And check this out. So this guy dies, and that's horrible. Don't get me wrong. God bless him. But Biden makes it sound like he died in the service. That he was a soldier at the time.
He made the soldier's death all about him.
Yeah, he made it. Oh, I know exactly, because my son Bo, you know, and he was a whatever service he was in. So anyhow, it's this big huge thing. I'm watching this, I'm like, are you kidding me? But this is what they do. Yeah. They make everything about them. We also have, you know, I also have a lot more of this narcissistic stuff in my family. People that were married in that absolutely blamed everything. One, blamed everything on her daughter, treated her like absolute dog shit. And then it's like the daughter is so messed up from it. So messed up that she, you know, it's a constant with her. I feel so it's a really bad program, and we all terrible. Need to learn how to break these programs that have been done to us by our parents. Yeah, and it's all, it's these horrible blocks so that we're here to clear. So what I'm saying is that if we don't clear these things, you can't be in this happy society. You can't be in this heaven on earth society like they talk about in the OAHSPE. That's this book. So I did have somebody, Joe1969. Hello, you're our viewer. Thank you for watching us. You were asking how to read this book. It's very difficult to read. In fact, it was funny because I was on YouTube and I never heard it. Like I said, I never heard of this book before ever in my life. I'd never even seen it. I've never seen it in a bookstore. Never heard of it. Nothing. And I look at spiritual books all the time and books of the Bible and everything. Never once heard of this. And it sort of just came to me, you know, in this odd way. And what I got was, I was looking at this YouTube video one day, and the guy said, you know what, I feel like this book just comes to the people that need it. So if you ended up getting the book, you must have needed it for some reason. So eventually, something in that book will pop out to you. And it's not just because maybe, you know, and you think, well, oh, I watched your video. Well, you didn't have to. Okay, and you certainly didn't have to feel called to buy this book. The book is huge. What I've done is when I started reading different books of the Bible and such, I would ask God to guide me, and then I'd open it, and then wherever the page would fall, I'd look at where my hand was, and I would just sort of know exactly where to go. Now that's what I've done, and actually, this past weekend, it was so bizarre. It was Easter, okay? And I was really, when I was really ticked off, I was asking, you know, why am I so ticked off? I mean, why do I have all this, like, why are these people always coming after me? What's up with these people coming after me?
There were a couple psychic attacks that were happening.
And I had all these things happen to me, and then I opened the Bible, and I didn't even look down. And my thumb was right there. And I hear, in this ear, I hear verse 3. So I looked down, and I'm not shitting you, my that was right on verse 3. And I looked down, and it was about, and I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to read it to you. Oh, my Bible's right here. Oh, how fortuitous. So.
I'll get you closer. Like leaning.
Oh, well, I like to lean. Okay. I think I have it still there. I do. So it's Psalms 3, and it's, But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory and the lifter up of mine head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill, Selah. I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. Whew. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Lord. Thy blessing is upon thy people. Salah, Salah. So it was so bizarre. So it was all about what I was going through. And that's exactly how I've gone through these books. So the OAHSPE, I read the first chapter. Okay. I read a little bit of other things, but I was guided to seriously read the first one and then read the last where it talks about shalom. And I thought it was extremely interesting. So if you want, you should check that out. But that's where I was guided to, because the shalom part is about the civilization after heaven on earth, and it talks about how we're supposed to teach our children and what jobs we bring to the table. So there will be no more high school, no more middle school, no more college, none of that, because none of that shit's important. It will be about jobs that people can teach, everybody can learn. Like, and I thought it was really interesting. So everybody will have this literally a well-rounded education by the time they get to move away from their families to do their own thing. They will know how to garden. They will know how to build a house, to sew their clothing, to make their food, to play an instrument, and do all these creative aspects. And there's ways to teach your children. And they said they needed, it was interesting, they needed architects, carpenters. It was basically all tradesmen. And the only thing that wasn't really a tradesman was a painter, like a art paint, and a
artistic stuff,
like playing a musical instrument,